Hey guys, J77 back home doing a pre-recording topic, pretty much a diary that I normally do from time to time. Unlike news reports and stuff, this is just me just giving my random thoughts of some stuff that's happening, whether with me or the city. And I put it on the diary section because there ain't gonna be no link. It's just me voicing my opinion on something that I noticed, saw, and without further ado, I just want to get right to the topic. I'm an outside worker, as you know. I am a ticket agent for a tour bus company. So at times I do see some unusual things, all things that I feel that is worth talking about. About a week ago, almost a week ago now, I was pretty much doing my final hour of my shift when I noticed that there were police lined up and pretty much blocking the road. And it was kind of weird because normally they don't do that unless there's an important person that is driving in the middle of the cars, which is barricaded around. Normally you see a big van. I could give you the color of it because I don't want nobody to do something with that van because of the person in it. Because normally that's the mayor or some other big hotshot that's driving around the city. This was not the case. There was no van, but there was a lot of police presence, including some that was actually in riot gear. So I'm kind of wondering what the hell is going on. And as I turn into my view, I'm seeing from my glasses about not one but 2 blocks away, some protesters was actually walking down. You can hear them screaming, and I was kind of curious of what they were screaming about. As they came closer, I began to see some of the signs with NSA, and okay, so I said to myself, fine, this is a protest about NSA, and sure enough, that's what I thought because at the beginning you see the mask is with anonymous, and they were saying, and I quote, "Well, we want privacy." When we want it, and then they said none of your business. So obviously, this is something of a big issue. It was not a major crowd, uh, which caught my alarm and why they had so much big police presence. And the only explanation I can probably come up with is that when they have a protest that is licensed, you have to have police presence in case it goes out of hand. But keep in mind, they just stop traffic. Even people and tourists stop to look at what's going on. They asked me what was going on, and I'll get to that in a minute because this is something very important why I'm bringing this issue up. As they was crossing, I noticed something that really scratched my head. I noticed the NSA chant. I noticed uh, the signs about NSA. It needs to be defunded. It needs to be stopped, and it was kept moving. But then I also noticed that as they kept going, I noticed the stop and frisk. I heard somebody said stop and frisk doesn't stop crime. Stop and frisk is the crime. Very interesting. Um, that was something that came up, and then the guy who had a stop and frisk sign also had an anonymous sign. They kept it moving. Next thing you know, as the line started to end, you saw the Trayvon Martin signs coming up, and with T-shirts of Trayvon Martin, and they wasn't saying much. They were just marching with them, and that's when they end. And then you see the police officers following behind them. There was in front of them, there was behind them, and then they actually made the turn, and then traffic resumed. They have they made a turn around 49th Street, and they kept the protest. They kept shouting at the protest from there. Stopped traffic at 7th Avenue, which a lot of people was not too happy about, and resumed from God knows where. But that's what the experience was on that. Now, I'm going to get to what the tourists have asked me. The tourists asked me very calmly, I'm just curious, as it was a lot of people said, what is this protest about? You honestly, I'm going to tell you right now, I did not know what to tell that guy. And the reason why is there was so much things going on that it could have been about anything, any of these three. It could be all of the above. And I got news for you. That's not really a good sign. It's not a good sign at all because you have all these mixed messages. Now, look, those who feel passionate about something like this, uh, have the right to protest. That's great. People, that's their discretion. You do it right, you get the license, and you don't, cause mischief. by all means, let your voice be heard. But please be organized with it. One topic doesn't have to do with the other one. The NSA does not have to do with stop and frisk. Stop and frisk is a whole different thing that's going on in New York. The NSA is an international thing that's going on, and the Trayvon Martin is a whole different thing altogether. And when I see that, it's confused a lot of people because they don't know what you guys are shouting about or fighting for. And that's the thing that really bothers me about that protest. I mean, it wasn't the fact that they was stopping the streets. It wasn't the fact that there was such a small group that has so much police presence. It was the fact that their message was all jumbled up. That's never a good sign. It's almost like they didn't really come organized and they decided, let's put all three of these together and have it shout out. That sometimes doesn't work. People get mixed messages. Say, wait a minute, they're suing for NSA, but I see Trayvon Martin here. Which one is it? And look, if you want to have a protest with Trayvon Martin, fine. If you want to have a protest with the NSA, fine. If you want to have a protest with the stop and frisk, fine. But do it separately, at a separate day, at a separate time. Don't jumble up into one big mess like that, because it really felt unorganized. It really felt that nobody in that marching protest knew what each other was protesting for. Like I said, I saw three different things going on, and all three of them passed me. And when the tourist asked me what was going on, I honestly said, well, from what I'm seeing is one side is doing one thing, one side is doing another one, and another group of people was posting another one. And the guy just shrugged his shoulder and kept it moving. Your message gets lost like that, especially when there's three important topics that should be discussed. I really felt the person dropped the ball with that kind of protest. Obviously, they got the license for it, but because there was a lot of police present. But I really felt they didn't handle it with great care. I really think they were unorganized when they made that march. I really did. You guys may disagree with that, but to me, you lose the message very quickly when you have so many things going on at one time in that march. Have one thing, stick with that one thing. If you want to have a march with Trayvon Martin, fine, do it another time or another day. Same thing goes with the stop and frisk. Another time, another day. Don't have all three of them jumbled up and expect everybody to understand what you're fighting for. Because to be honest with you, you're sending mixed messages. I was even confused. I said, wait a minute, I thought this was an NSA. What the hell is Trayvon Martin protest doing here? What is the stop and frisk thing doing here? I mean, these are important issues, yes. These are important topics that should still be made in the back burner. But why are you jamming them up into one big thing? Not one has nothing to do with the other. And that was the one thing that really bothered me when I saw that. I really felt they really shouldn't do that type of protest like that, because again, when people see that, they see that these are a bunch of riffraffs. I don't even know what the hell they're fighting for. I mean, I'm keeping it real. Some of those protests laughed at them. Some of the people who was watching laughed at them. They said, "What the hell are they doing?" And to be honest with you, I didn't see any in the news, at least from my end. But I can only imagine if they did protest, what do you think the news is going to say? What are they fighting for? The same thing what they did with Occupy Wall Street. What are they fighting for? Well, I know what Wall Street was fighting for. It was very clear why they was upset. It was very clear why they was mad. But that right there is letting a further note that, hey, these protesters don't know what the hell they're talking about, because they got three different issues here, and neither one of them know what each one is fighting for. And that's the whole thing. So all I'm saying is, if you're going to protest, fine, but please stick with one subject, please. If you want to do multiple subjects, have a time and date for that subject. Don't try and bunch them up into one. But that's just my opinion about that, because, again, it was kind of weird. I'm not going to even lie, it's kind of weird. Well, that's pretty much it, guys. You guys can talk about it if you want. See if you guys have your own opinion about it. But that's just how I felt. So I got to say on the matter. So you guys welcome to your feedback. Hear what you got to say. J77 saying take care, be safe. I'll talk to you soon.